The Vegan Links Cookery Show with Lindy Lou on YouTube.
Hi, it's Linda from Vegan Links. I've been asked to do another quick 10-minute cookery session. So today we're going to make Italian tomato soup. First of all, we take 2 onions and very quickly peel the onions and then chop them up. My cameraman has told me that we've got 10 minutes to do this in, so this is just in time for you to have it for your lunch. Right, here we go. Chop up your onions. Doesn't matter whether they're nicely chopped, just roughly chop them, because we're going to blitz them afterwards anyway. And if you're very hungry and in a hurry, as long as you don't chop your fingers, you'll be fine. Now, we take 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And heat the olive oil up. Now, while that's warming through, we take our red pepper. Deseed it. And then chop it up, and then that goes in with the onions, and we basically stir fry it until they're cooked. Again, roughly chopping them because they're going to be all whizzed up with the blender very shortly. Okay, now the oil should be nicely warm. Be careful not to get it over warm, otherwise you start getting smoke. Carefully lower it in. That's all of the coarsely chopped vegetables. Break them up a little bit, mix them around in the oil, and let the frying pan do its thing. Now, the next stage, we take a tin of chopped tomatoes and put it in the saucepan. Then we take 1.5 pints of water, which that's roughly about 800 mils. And I put that on the back one and slowly start to heat that through. Now, wonderful vegetarian and vegan Worcester sauce. You need a tablespoon of that. And add it to the tomatoes. Then we take a tablespoon of tomato sauce. You can use tomato puree, but I find that tomato sauce just adds that little extra zing to it. Mix that around. Then we take a good pinch or 2 of sugar. You might need to add a little bit afterwards just to sort of taste it, see if the flavour's there. Then we want some salt and pepper in there. And then the bacon, which is the vegetable stock cube, which I use quite a lot of. And we want 2 teaspoons of bacon. Rounded teaspoons. Mix that round. Give the vegetables a quick stir around. And as you can see the onions are beginning to caramelise ever so slightly. That's where the sugars are actually starting to come out of the onions, and that's why they taste a little bit on the sweet side. Let that finish cooking there for a few more minutes. And then we take a garlic. I've actually taken the outside skin off the garlic to save time, and put it in the garlic crush, and then add that to the onion and peppers. The reason why I don't put it in right at the start is that the garlic actually cooks a lot quicker than the onions, and you don't really want to burn your garlic. Is that smelling good, cameraman?
Oh yes.
Very good. How are we doing the time?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Now, into our tomato mixture, we're going to actually add 2 teaspoons of sugar. That just pulls all the flavours together and makes it really taste nice. Again, we'll mix that around. And now I'm going to take a few sprigs of fresh basil, and rather than chop them up, I'm actually going to break them, because if you tear them you get the flavours coming through better than if you chop them up. There are a few leaves of about half a dozen leaves of basil, and a good teaspoon of oregano. And I also put dried basil in as well, because the dried basil has a slightly different flavour to the fresh basil, so it all works really well together with the herbs. And then we'll give this a little stir around. What I'll do is now switch the pans over, because this one's cooking a bit faster. So we'll bring up the tomato and herb mixture to the boil. I'll carry on cooking the onions and the peppers. And once the tomato mixture is actually boiled, we'll then be able to add the onions to it. So the onions are nicely caramelising and softening up. And even though I say so myself, it's really smelling quite good at the moment. Give the tomato mixture a quick stir around, and we can turn that off. And we'll add our tomatoes, pepper and garlic into the tomato base. Okay, give it a stir around. Bring it to boil. Yeah, it's all nicely bubbling away. So we'll now move it off the heat. And I use a stick blender. You can actually put it into a liquidizer or a food processor. So it's going to be a bit noisy for a second or two. Blitz it all up. Try and remove all the bits of tomatoes. And there we have our soup mixture, and we'll just take a bowl and spoon it in. I've left 1 or 2 little bits in there to sort of add a little bit of texture to the soup, but if you want it really smooth you can blitz it for a bit longer. And there we have, just decorate with a little bit of basil, and there you have your 10-minute lunch. Enjoy.
The Vegan Links Cookery Show.